spurs and second chances. Clara Belle Whitmore knew the day would go wrong the moment her hat display collapsed like a drunk accordion. She was halfway through scolding the wind when she heard the unmistakable jingle-jangle of spurs. The sound followed him before she saw him. Jack Calder stood in the middle of Copper Creek's main street, like a memory that refused to stay buried. Taller than she remembered, broader, still unfairly handsome. The town marshal's badge on his chest gleamed like an insult. Clara lifted her chin. "If you're here to buy a hat," she said sweetly, "I suggest one that hides your face." Jack smiled slowly. "Good to see you too, Clara Belle." Copper Creek stopped breathing. Windows opened. Doors creaked. A dog barked once, dramatically. Jack Calder, former outlaw, former heartbreak, current bad idea, had returned. Clara retreated into her shop, heart pounding, dignity intact, and slammed the door with enough force to knock over a mannequin. She told herself she was annoyed. She told herself she was calm. She absolutely did not tell herself. She still remembered how he kissed like a promise. Outside, Jack tipped his hat, absorbing the stares. "Missed me?" He asked the town. They answered with silence and suspicion. It took exactly 1 hour for Clara to learn the worst possible truth. Jack Calder was now the law. She found out when he arrested a drunk inside her shop for trying to steal a pink feathered bonnet. "You can't bring criminals into my millinery," Clara snapped. Jack winced. He tripped. The drunk waved. "Pretty hats." Clara pointed at Jack. "You owe me a new display, and possibly my sanity." Jack leaned closer, voice low. "I'll make it up to you." Her pulse betrayed her immediately, and she hated it. That night, Clara lay awake, replaying the past. The cottonwood tree, the promise Jack never kept. The morning he rode away. Jack lay awake too, staring at the ceiling of the jailhouse, wondering how a single woman could still make him feel 12 kinds of unsteady. They both decided separately that avoiding each other was the solution. By morning, fate laughed and threw them together at the town council meeting. Copper Creek had a problem. Bandits nearby. Gossip everywhere. And a town that trusted Jack Calder about as far as they could throw him. Someone suggested Jack needed to look settled. Someone else looked at Clara. Clara laughed loudly. "Absolutely not." Jack opened his mouth. "Hear me out." "No." "It's pretend." "No." "It'd help my job." Clara folded her arms. "You fake court me, and I will ruin your life." Jack smiled. "Worth it." They set rules. Strict ones. No touching, no reminiscing. No mentioning the kiss. Jack broke Rule 1 by offering his arm in public. Clara broke Rule 2 by noticing how solid he felt beside her. Rule 3 shattered the first time. He said, "You still smell like wildflowers." She slapped him, accidentally, with a glove. The town swooned. The fake courtship worked too well. Jack escorted Clara everywhere. People smiled. The gossip softened. Clara laughed more than she had in years, and hated herself for it. Then a runaway horse sent Jack diving to save a child. Clara screaming his name like a prayer she didn't mean to say. He emerged, dusty, bruised, alive. She nearly kissed him in the street. Nearly. A stranger rode into town with a smirk and a memory of Jack's outlaw days. Clara overheard enough to remind her why she'd sworn never to trust him again. "You didn't change," she accused that night. Jack's voice broke. "I did." I just didn't know how to come back sooner." She walked away before he could finish. Bandits struck Copper Creek. Jack rode out to protect the town, leaving Clara with fear curling tight in her chest. She realized too late that she loved him, and that loving him might mean losing him again. Jack returned at dawn, wounded but victorious. Clara found him in the jailhouse, stitching his arm with shaking hands. "I can't lose you," she whispered, furious tears spilling. Jack cupped her cheek. "I'm not riding away. Not ever." This time, the kiss happened. The whole town pretended not to watch. They confessed everything: the hurt, the waiting, the love that never faded. Jack admitted he'd left because he didn't think he deserved her. Clara admitted she'd waited longer than she'd admit. They laughed, they cried, they kissed again slower this time. Jack offered to resign as marshal if it meant peace. Clara surprised them both by saying, "Stay." The town voted unanimously. Copper Creek liked their marshal in love. Dating for real was messier than pretending. They argued, they flirted. They learned each other again. Jack built Clara a new shop display. Clara made him a hat he pretended not to adore. At sunset, Jack rode into town, not away. This time, man dismounted in front of Clara's shop. He knelt right there in the dust. "I choose you," he said simply. Clara laughed through tears. "Took you long enough." Their wedding was loud, joyful, and slightly chaotic. Jack wore his spurs. Clara wore a hat that stole the show. When they danced under the stars, Clara rested her head on his chest and whispered, "Promise me." Jack kissed her hair. "I'm not going anywhere." And for the first time, she believed it. The desert learned their names. It learned the sound of Clara's laughter drifting from the millinery at dawn, and the steady rhythm of Jack's boots crossing the street every morning. No hurry, no ghosts chasing him anymore. The wind carried their story now, softer than it used to be, warmer. Copper Creek had changed. Or maybe it was just them. Clara stood on the porch of their home at sunset, the sky unfurling in ribbons of amber and rose. She wore no hat tonight, just loose hair, kissed gold by the dying light. Jack approached from the road, spurs quiet now, like even they knew better than to interrupt this moment. "You ever notice," Jack said, sliding an arm around her waist, "how the sun always waits a second longer before setting here?" Clara smiled, leaning into him. "It's polite." He laughed softly, pressing a kiss to her temple. The kind of laugh that came easy, the kind that meant he was home in every sense of the word. They watched the town settle into evening, lanterns flickering on, voices softening, the day exhaling. Somewhere down the street, a piano stumbled through a tune. Somewhere farther off, the plains stretched wide and forgiving. "I used to think love was something you chased," Jack said quietly. "Something you had to earn by riding hard and fast." Clara took his hand, lacing her fingers through his. And now I know it stays," he said. "If you stay." She turned to him then, really looked at him, the man who had left, the man who came back, the man who chose her every single day. "I'm not going anywhere," she said softly. Jack swallowed. The badge on his chest caught the last light of day, but it wasn't what defined him anymore. He reached into his pocket and pulled out something small and familiar. Her glove, the one she'd slapped him with the first week he returned. "I kept it," he admitted, "to remind me not to mess this up." Clara laughed, tears shining. "You are impossible." "And yours." She kissed him slow, certain, unafraid. The kind of kiss that didn't rush, didn't doubt, didn't wonder if tomorrow would hurt. Above them, the first stars appeared. Below them, the dust of 1,000 old mistakes lay quiet and undisturbed. Jack rested his forehead against hers. "Second chances," he murmured. Clara smiled. "Turns out they're better than first ones." And as night settled gently over Copper Creek, they stood together, no more running, no more waiting, just love, steady as the land beneath their feet, written not in promises, but in staying. Like and subscribe. Aurora Tale Wild West. God bless.